We are back. We have done the full breakdown of the 2026 Masters, going over the plays we like, our betting trends. We did our draft. It's enough talking. It's about game plan now. We have the official 2026 Masters betting card to show off today. I am WizBets, and I got TMD joining me today. TMD, how excited are you for this weekend?
I'm kind of at that point where just want to get to bed and wake up and have it be here. I think one of the best parts is that East Coast golf, be it that I'm from the Midwest right now. I live in the Midwest. You get it the second you wake up. So very excited.
We've got several outrights to talk about today. We have a couple fun over unders to talk about, and then we will have two official round one plays with maybe a couple more we are adding as well. Keep in mind, all of these odds might have slightly changed since we placed them. If you want the best odds possible, make sure you sub to the WizBets Discord. Make sure you use TMD's code on his page to get 50% off. I will be sharing that in the announcements tab in the Discord in a little bit. But I say we just get right into it and we talk about the six players that we are taking in the outright market. TMD, I'm going to start with the two live guys that we're not playing on DraftKings, but instead we're playing on Bet365. Can you talk about how we're playing Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and how you would play that if you don't have Bet365?
Yeah, we're playing them in an each way market, very popular for outright bettors or just guys that like winners in golf. It's not something that we typically do in Wiz Golf. I mean, we don't really take outrights as it is. We don't run portfolios like that. That's probably something that's going to come a little bit later in the season or next year. But what the each way market is that you'll typically see it with the outright odds. So in this case for Jon Rahm, it was 12 to 1, and it'll say one fourth, 1 through 5. And what this means is that if Jon Rahm does not win at that plus 1200 number, but instead places second, third, fourth, or fifth, you will then get a fourth of the odds and it'll count as a hit. One thing that happens is it does double your wager. So you are essentially betting on a top five as well, but it's just a nice way to protect against a close finish. So that's how we're taking them. We think that they have an extremely high upside, and it's reflected in the bets that are displayed on DraftKings and everywhere else. So I do think that, if it really comes down to it, similarly to last year, if Bryson's going to be up there, he's going to be up there, not just hovering around the top 20. And I would say the same thing goes with Rom. I would put them in similar categories as golfers. So yeah.
So you have points. We have six. We have zero point 0.6 units invested into Bryson DeChambeau on this outright market on Bet365. Let's say you don't have that book. Let's say you want to bet Bryson DeChambeau outright winner and top five. How would you distribute those units here?
I mean, I would probably do a little bit less for the win in the case that someone had good enough odds. In this case, they don't really, so I might just match them equally. But I can't necessarily see too well on your screen,
So
actually. So
Bryson
I'm going to.
DeChambeau to outright win is plus 1050, and for him top five including ties is plus 210.
Right. So in this case, like each way market, one fourth of the 1200. Obviously, it's a little bit different odds now, but actually, let's just do it with 900. If you split 900 four ways, would that not be 150?
900 four ways. Yes, that'd be one. No, that'd be
No, wait,
no.
it's
That would
more
be. It's gonna be like
20,
220. It's
7,
225. I think it's
225, isn't it?
225 is four ways. Yes.
Right. So, geez, that's stay in school, kids. But if you look here, to get 225, in an each way market, it would pay out that plus 225. But if you were to take them separately, 174, you can see some of the value that you would have in an each way market. It's just going to give you boosted top fives. Here, I would probably proceed with a little bit more caution and just either sprinkle a little bit less on the outright winner and then replace with a little bit more into the top five. Or I would just take the outright. Like if it's me, I'm probably, if I don't have the each way, I'm not a big fan of top fives. I just like them at better value, which is what the each way market does. I instead would just take outright winners here.
Gotcha. Same thing goes for Jon Rahm for that. Let's move
Yeah.
on to some of the favorites. I think if you watched the betting preview yesterday, which I highly recommend watching full hour 20-minute breakdown of me and TMD going over as many golfers as we can. We came to a consensus that our two favorite golfers to win the tournament are Xander and Ludwig. We have both played them in the outright market. We played Xander for 0.2 units, and we played Ludwig for 0.17 units. Now, those odds have shifted since we played it. I mean, we talked about Xander last night at plus 1,800. Now he's down to plus 1,550. But, I mean, when we talk about Xander, we don't got to talk about it too long. He's due. Really good history at the Masters. Coming into it with some really good Masters prep. One of the best off the tee guys right now. Him and Ludwig are both doing well. And then obviously we heard TMD gush over Ludwig. Is there anything that you didn't say yesterday that you want to say about either of these guys?
I'm pretty sure I touched on everything, especially surrounding Ludwig. I think that around the green play is just going to be so important, and for Ludwig to have that in his bag and be one of the best headed in here with the current field, like having that skill is so important, especially with the way that the greens are they're a little too perfect. They're a little too pure. They're a little too runny. They're a little bit too hilly. And like to have the accuracy for when you either run it off the green on approach or you just miss by a little bit, to have that is so huge. And especially with those greenside bunkers too, like to be really crafty around the green is important. And I'm just happy that beyond the ball striking, Ludwig has it down around the green. So if I didn't mention that yesterday, I do think that that's just one extra muscle that plays in Ludwig's favor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully with you there. I think Ludwig's perfect for the value we got, and we're basically playing each of these when they were the odds we were given. Each of these to win 3 units if it were to happen. So that's kind of what we're targeting. If you haven't tailed it already, we have 2 more outrights. One of them I was surprised about, and one of them I knew we had to target. I want to target that one first, and that's Matt Fitzpatrick, which I think out of every golfer that we talked about yesterday, who fits analytically, who fits the trends, I think Fitzpatrick is the perfect fit.
I completely agree. Just super well rounded and definitely a guy that we're going to look to be targeting potentially round one. He's been really good round one at the Masters. I mean, I'm not in a position to leverage that small sample for the future here, but just a guy that has been really good round one this year and has been good in Augusta round one. So I think full tournament wise, yeah, he's a guy that's always going to stay in it. I think the bogey avoidance is a huge key too, just that he's not going to slip out and lose it as easy as some of these other guys do. Because for those who don't watch the Masters a lot, like high 70s is appropriate. Like that's something that happens. This course plays to probably a stroke over. I'd say in the past like 6-7 years, I think you'll either see like a half stroke all the way to 1.5 strokes. So anywhere within there. 2020 was an outlier. Don't even look at that. That one played under par, but just yeah, it's going to be tough to avoid bogeys, and he's a guy that does it. So
Yes. And then the last guy, I'll give you an opportunity to speak on him. I think this is the one that has gotten the best CLV out of all of them, and that's Cameron Young, plus 2,100s right now on DraftKings. This is our last outright, so our 6 official ones that we love are Jon Rahm, Bryson, Xander, Ludwig, Cameron Young, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Well, just give me like a 30-second summary on why Cam Young is here.
Cam Young's there because he's playing as good as anyone. He just has all of the different form statistics, and he has everything that you need to succeed at Augusta. He's placed top 10 twice before. Granted, he's been pretty inconsistent, but in a nutshell, he's playing better than he's ever played. He picked up a player's win a few weeks ago and comes into the tournament one of the hottest golfers that fits the bill for success at Augusta. So got to take him.
Oh, absolutely. I think you're getting good value on him as well as one. I think he's behind Matt Fitzpatrick. I think he has the second longest odds that we have taken. But I mean, I'm at the point now, how we've talked about it, one of these 6 guys is winning. I'm really confident in the 6 guys that we've chosen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, especially picking up Xander. I didn't have Xander initially. For those who do not know how my betting progression went, I placed these bets last week. I'm a guy who places Masters bets very late. That's the thing about me. A lot of guys. I mean, I'm in discords with people who have 100 to 1 Cam Young tickets. So there are people that do it right after the Masters for the next year. There are people that do it in the beginning of the year around the Sony. I do it about a week ago, but I still was able to get pretty good CLV and yeah, just I'm really excited for these six guys to just get going. I think it's a number where you got to have one guy in the mix. You're not
Mhm.
going to take six of the best golfers in the world and just all have them miss the cut. That would be egregious. That would be certainly an outlier of a Masters. So I'm just so pumped to see who gets off to a good start because I think we talked a little bit about it yesterday. You don't need to be top 10 after round one, but it certainly
Hey,
helps.
that was one of your things that you said fact that if you're not top 10 after round one, that
It's technically fiction, but in my brain, it's fact.
yeah, Roy kind of broke that last year, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we have three top finishes, and then we have two fades that we have made official. The first one, not going to take a lot of explanation. Ludwig should not be getting a plus 150, including ties, for top 10. This is where he's most likely to end up. We can think he's going to be in contention, top five, be near winning the whole thing. And basically, when you're betting these high numbers at top five, you're rooting for a guy that's not going to have a blow up round. And there might not be anybody else that has less of a chance of having a blow up round than Ludwig.
Yeah. Uh, he's a guy that can really shake it up on moving day two, like a good round two, round three guy that really just solidifies himself in the mix. He's one of those golfers that can avoid bad rounds, but also go very low. I'm really interested to see what the low numbers are this year. Typically, round one, we'll see like a couple four unders and maybe like a five under. And then typically the first round leader will have something like, a seven maybe. And I'm interested to see with the way that this year's shaken up, a lot of scoring. So maybe, and Ludwig is the kind of guy that really like could go low enough to be our first round leader. That would be so sweet because I trust him to carry that out and have another good round to pile on.
Well, I think all of our guys are going to be top 10 round one, right? They're
I
gonna,
would. That's the plan. That's I see it in all of them. So
yeah. We have two top 20 um, finishes as well. One of them we've already mentioned, Matt Fitzpatrick, just for the odds that we got at minus 136, near must play for Fitz, one of the more consistent golfers this year. And then somebody we haven't talked about much. We got him at plus 100. He's actually got negative CLV. So if you're watching this late and you haven't taken Minwoo Lee, you actually are going to get slightly better odds. But I think Minwoo is somebody that isn't being talked about enough in the betting like expert world. But we talked about how Matt Fitzpatrick fits all those betting trends. Minwoo Lee is right there along with him.
count me in as kind of like someone who's trying to predict a breakout or see the future. I mean, I think that this is a year that's going to go very, very well. Already has for Minwoo, but I think he's going to continue this steam and really start to become one of the better golfers in the world. I think he's ranked 22 right now. That's already higher than what I thought he'd really get to this year. Um, I think that this is his Masters breakout. Everyone has a good year now and then. You know what I mean? Especially when you have characteristics that can help you succeed here. This to me is kind of my fun bet. I know that that might not be what analytical minded people want to hear. It's kind of my fun bet. He's a guy that can destroy par fives. He's shown that he's consistent on approach. We know that his around the green game is wizardly. I mean, all the nicknames that are associated with Minwoo. Um, he's a specialist, and so when you add all those things together, I think the putting checks. I think it's pretty good too. He's a guy that I think has a high likelihood to get up there. And I'm almost being conservative with the top 20. I truthfully feel like he can post a top 10. I'd project him to be around like 12th, 14th. That's what I'm seeing from him. And then he's going to, put himself in those future trends where he's got that top 22. He's got the years of experience. And then next thing you know it, he's going to be one of the most tipped golfers to win it.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if Minwoo finishes top 20, even if he's, like, barely makes it there, if he just shows enough promise at Augusta, 2027, Minwoo Lee ticket. Let's be those guys that get the Cam Yun plus 10,000 odds. Let's get it in on Minwoo right after the Masters this year.
Hey man, I'll do it. I'll hold that ticket. I just want to be the guy who can flaunt it around.
Yeah. Okay, so we have two fades that we talked about a little bit yesterday, but we ended up making official. The first one is the one that might get us get the pitchforks out. We're fading Scotty top 10. Value is really, really good on this prop on Kalshi last night. We were able to get plus 139 odds for just half a unit. But I mean, yes, is it Scotty? 100%. You still fade Luka Doncic sometimes. You still fade Nikola Jokic sometimes in NBA if the lines justify it. And us getting any golfer to not finish in the top 10 for plus value is a near must. And especially with Scotty and how he's come into the Masters this season.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like taking Luca to not score 40 in my mind. Like that's what it seems like. I know that top 10 at the Masters has been one of Scotty's favorite things to do, but all things considered this year, I'm not necessarily fading him as a golfer, but he's just hasn't shown us that he's fully Scotty. And I mean, I still project him to be very good, but to get these kinds of odds for just not making, like, he could finish top 12. He could finish T12,
If he finishes
T14.
12, it's not bad. That's not a bad
It's
finish
just
for Scotty.
cool. He just has to have like one bad round. Or
Mm-hmm.
like if he goes out there and shoots like a 74, which by the way, he's done that on like bad courses and good courses, but he's done that plenty of times. Like we've seen slippage. If he just has one of those, all right, yeah, take your T14 and go home, and I'll take the plus whatever we got in it, 139 plus
139,
140.
yeah, which is insane.
Like, give me that. Like, and let's just test the theory. Let's just test it.
And hey,
Is
if
the plus
Scotty goes out there and he dominates, just don't win. Please don't win. Scotty, I beg you.
right? Right, that would be terrible.
um, Another guy that we're fading. Now, maybe not really because we don't like him as a golfer, but maybe just because of the situation that has led up to his Masters. We got great value on Colin Morikawa not finishing in the top 20. Now, I want to be clear, both of these props aren't available on DraftKings and FanDuel because they hate you and they don't want you to fade golfers because so they can price their lines however they want. These lines are available on Novig, Kalshi, and other apps like that. You can use code WizBets for either of those websites. It gives you. I like these websites more at times because the under crowd will sometimes make the overs a little bit more easier to play. But just having the option is so important instead of being locked into just like, all right, I need to find the golfers that have the best over value. But I mean, TMD, this is simple. Morikawa is just not healthy.
He's not, and he's not going to be able to like have that sort of practice if your back isn't okay leading up, and literally the 2 weeks leading up the Masters prep window. If you're not able to practice at like the best you can, you're just automatically at a disadvantage. Obviously, Colin is someone who understands Augusta, performed there before. And so I'd put him, maybe ahead of, a guy who's playing it for the first time, like a Ben Griffin. But I'm not necessarily thinking, yeah, he's going to place top 20. It's hard to do that. And I know that he's still a great striker of the golf ball. He's extremely accurate, and he possesses some of the best things that you need to succeed here. And that's why he has. But without that prep, you're not going to be able to have those, sort of maybe wild shots, or you might not always put yourself in the best position and hit the spots every single time consistently just because you don't have that sort of practice under your belt. He said the other day he's day to day. I'm going to take that at face value. If he's truly day to day and he's out there not hitting that many range balls, he's focusing more on the short game, on the practice rounds. Ah, how am I going to look at you and believe you? Like, or believe in you. So that's why we're fading Morikawa. I just think at the price it just fits.
Yeah, there's one more pre-tournament bet that we took. I had to twist TMD's arm to take this one, but even he admitted that we had to take a cut parlay, especially at the Masters. What we decided on is that we landed on Ludwig, Fitzpatrick, and Adam Scott. I think Fitzpatrick and Ludwig are near locks, barring a injury withdrawal. But this is the first time we're mentioning Adam Scott. But at this price, I mean, this feels like a must take right now.
Yeah, I was just rewatching, something popped up on my TikTok, his closing stretch, when he won it in the rain in 2013 just looks sick. Um, he's a guy that knows how to navigate the course. He has the history, solid golfer, and we've almost seen like a little resurgence from him, to where he's actually playing really really good golf. So I think if you're looking down the leaderboard, it's someone that you might be able to get for a good price. I think pretty much everywhere. Adam Scott's going to be your guy. I just project him to play really really well. I don't know why he's not priced a little bit better, but we'll take the old head.
I mean, it's just to make a cut. It's what, top 60 after.
50 with
Yes, my apologies. And then we might have more round one plays. We're going to discuss a few after these. But I think in round one, even with the Masters, you got to be careful. Because round one dictates the whole tournament at times. And a lot of the most unpredictable round to bet on is round one for sure. Especially picking golfers that are going to do well. The easier thing is to pick two golfers you think are really going to struggle, maybe avoid greens and regulations, see how they do round one, and just take over strokes on like two or three guys. And we've landed on two of them. Who do we got?
Well, to start, Brooks Kepka over 71 and a half is a number that's only available on FanDuel. And that was just kind of a discrepancy in the market. You're seeing 72 and a half in a lot of different places. And even the odds there, like a little juice to the under, but seeing 71 and a half, like you got to understand how hard this course is going to play. And I've been on the wrong side of how the course is going to play round one before. Just happened to me at the Valero last week. But Augusta's the most predictive course. It's one that is honestly hard to get wrong. And especially this year with how dry it's been, I just can't necessarily say that it's going to play a whole lot easier. The weather's phenomenal. You're not going to have to worry about wind a lot. You're not going to have to worry about rain. But I don't think it's going to be a complete score fest. So I still project only probably like 20 guys to probably go under par. And is Brooks Kepka going to be one of them? Probably not. Just has not deserved that line. He's played fine. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the world. But am I going to take him to be laser sharp out the gate? No. It's just a good numbers play. He's not like my least favorite golfer to go out there and play tomorrow, but sometimes you got to play numbers, and this is just the right one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think somebody asked us, DK had a promo where it was like Scotty, McIlroy, and Brooks Koepka to all make the cut. And I basically told him, I said, Brooks Koepka ruins that entire parlay. I don't care what the boost is. I'm probably not taking Koepka to make the cut or be around that range. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would just pick different golfers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why subject yourself to Brooks when you can just maybe pick someone around him that has a little bit of a better resume and form going in. I know that there are guys similar to him.
And then we haven't talked about him much. We didn't talk about him yesterday, really, but Ben Griffin really stands out at a 72.5 line for minus 118. You got him at minus 110 on Caesars. For the people that have been betting PGA with us all year, generally DraftKings and FanDuel have had a monopoly on round betting, but now Caesars, Hard Rock, and Bet365 are all opening lines for the Masters, so make sure you line shop. I mean, Ben Griffin to finish over par, I mean, that's practically free.
Yeah, my biggest concern is that I don't know, he saves himself from trouble and finishes even. I do respect his short game, but at the same time, he's been a really, really bad putter from close distance, and that is really a spot that you can't be bad in at Augusta. So I'm kind of wagering that his putting is going to keep him out of anything crazy just because long par saves are going to be a little bit more rare here. And in addition, like his swing is whack. He's out of form. He's missing cuts left and right. Like the way that he ended last season was incredible. And then you come into this year with a good start at the Sony. I believe he was good at the Amex as well. Those are his courses. This one's not. He's not a distance freak. His swing was looking a little bit wonky on the range. A lot of people said it was a lot of weird cuts, and I think he swung more than everyone else too that he was out there with. I think he logged almost 300 swings. So it's just clearly he's behind. Clearly he's trying to work on something. I don't really trust his game here. He's also this is also the first round he's ever played at Augusta. So you take everything, put it all together, and then boom, it's his first time. Go ahead and grab that 73 kid. It's just a great, that's my favorite bet for round one so far.
Wow.
Is that one. I'm eyeballing a couple others. There's some wagons, especially some Augusta wagons that I think have not been revealed yet that you don't even know yet, Wiz. But I do think my favorite play of the day and the one that is probably going to see the free play on Twitter will be that Ben Griffin play.
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. We've the one of the trends that we talked about that is so important is having a top finish before you enter Augusta, because there's not a lot of golfers that come in cold that have success, because especially for somebody that hasn't played Augusta before, he's gonna get whiplash on the first nine. It is a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different course. There's no comparisons. We talk about comparisons early in the PGA season, like, oh, if a guy does well on this course, he favors to do on courses like this. Augusta is a one of a kind experience. There is no prepping for it. The only prep is the other times you play it at Augusta. So yeah, I'm all in on Ben Griffin. I think that's a phenomenal play. You mentioned some other stuff for round one. There might be more official plays, but just in case people want to sprinkle in a couple stuff, what are some lines that you're targeting, or at least keeping an eye on?
I think the biggest thing that I'm looking for round one is trying to find an edge with a player's round score versus their top 20, including ties. So you'll see lines given to guys like Jon Rahm, and on that list there, you'll see he's minus 140. Typically, if the course runs the way that it is supposed to and the way that it has, top 20 will typically be achieved by going under par. Typically, it's just by one under. That will net you top 20, including ties. Now, if we're not including ties, don't even try to bet that shit. It's just the one that's including ties, because all you have to do is go on a par. Now, you're going to get a bit of a different line if you try to take Jon Rahm under 70 and a half. Sure, it might be better odds, but you're getting a better number uh, in a way by taking that top 20. Now, am I advising you to go take Jon Rahm, top 20, including ties? Well, no. He's probably the best modeled, at least the way that I look at it, the way that he plays over at Live and in majors and round ones. He's been very good. He's actually been a first round leader at the Masters the year that he won. But other than that, he's been a little rough, so I'm not advising it. But when you look at the top guys, the Brysons, the Rahms, the Schefflers, even the Schauffele's, Ludwig, all those guys, you're gonna get a little bit of a more of a special number with top 20s compared to a 71 and a half and a 70 and a half.
If the guy is 70 and a half for a round score, you were saying take the top 20, including ties instead. That is your official advice on that.
Gives you a better cushion.
Okay. What about 71 and a half? Let's bring an example in, and let's look at, well, who's the guy that's about 70? Because not a lot of guys. Most guys you're going to see are getting 72 and a half lines. But let's just find an example here. Great. This is a great example. Let's do Matt Fitzpatrick. So Matt Fitzpatrick has a 71 and a half round score at minus 130. His top 20 is, let's see if we can, I know he's right here, plus 106. So you're a little bit more juiced on the 71 and a half. Which of these would you rather play?
I would rather play the top 20. Matty Fitz has done it 4 of his last 5 round ones at Augusta. Just typically a very consistent player that doesn't try to do too much. Usually hangs around in that top 20. I wouldn't really take him for a first round leader or a top 5, but I think he's perfect for this market. And you're just getting a little bit of a better number at plus 106.
So 71 and a half, unless it's egregious value that you're getting, you still wouldn't take the under 71 and a half, unless it's a golfer that's maybe getting worse odds at top 20. I'm trying to see if there's anybody around the 72 and a half market that we have talked about that, like Adam Scott. Adam Scott's currently minus 142 for under 72 and a half. And Adam Scott for a top 20 round one finish is plus 148. At that price, would you rather play Adam Scott 72 and a half, or would you rather play top 20?
I'd rather play 72 and a half just because I'm a little bit more cautious, but there's another golfer that that's very similar to Adam Scott in terms of my confidence level coming into this tournament that I'm really thinking about betting on. And that's a guy that's plus 160 in the top 20. That's Corey Connors because I love his under 72.5. I believe it's one that the Discord is going to see later. So pays to watch this video. You'll get it maybe even earlier than they will. But it's one that I'm thinking about taking. But plus 160 for it's essentially one stroke of a difference. That's pretty good. You go from minus 126 under 72.5, and then you just kind of drop it a stroke, and then boom, you're at plus 160. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good jump.
Okay. With Corey Connors, if you think he has major upside, is there any world that you would take him, like being near a round leader after round one? Because he's plus 840 currently for top five.
Yeah, I do think he possesses a big upside at round one, and I think I kind of am blanking on the numbers and where I'm like used to seeing him, but I think in the last 5 years he's done top five once, top 10 three times, and then top 23 times as well. So I definitely think he has the ability to get up there into the top 10, or at least has shown that he can.
Gotcha. And that's it. Pre-tournament card done. Round one card in progress, but we already have two official plays in Ben Griffin and Brooks Koepka. Here is the plays that we have made official. All of these were posted in the Discord earlier today and last night. I'll recap it just one last time. The Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm each way bets, 0.6 and 0.52 units. Our outright markets are Xander, Ludwig, Cam Young, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Our top finish bets include Matt Fitzpatrick top 20, Minwoo Lee top 20, Ludwig top 10, Scotty not make the top 10, and Morikawa not to make the top 20. We also have a cut parlay, Ludwig, Fitzpatrick, Adam Scott for minus 115 on DraftKings. On round one currently, Ben Griffin over 72.5 strokes and Brooks Koepka over 71.5 strokes. Make sure you guys stay tuned for possibly recording for rounds 2, 3, and 4. If we're not going to do those, we're still going to be posting all week in the Discord, interacting with everybody. Make sure you guys tune in because this is the best weekend in golf. TMD, anything else before I let you go?
I think that about sums it up.
All right, guys, let's have a great Masters weekend, and we'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.